Hello, greetings everyone. Welcome back. Here we are. I had a little blip in the technological department there, but hey, here we're back. Let me just check that we are doubly back. Let me just check that we are triply back. As we look, we're working okay. Awesome. So now I can introduce my guest. My guest, Richard Scott. Welcome to the show. Richard is the owner of Mynd Works Therapy. He's hypnotherapist, psychotherapist, mind coach. Helps people with a whole bunch of issues. Hey, welcome. Well done, Richard, for getting back in there. That was stunning. Thanks for coming in. How are you?
It's because I put my glasses on. When I put my glasses on, things happen. So that's one key takeaway for productivity.
Oh, that's just stunning. We can finish the show now. That's it. We've done.
Excellent. Just put your glasses on. Done.
Oh, stunning. So tell everyone what you, I'll give you a brief intro there. Tell people where you are, what you do.
Okay. My name's Richard Scott. I'm formerly from the UK, now living in Brisbane. I had to basically formulate myself as a mindset coach because when I came over here, I predominantly used hypnotherapy to get really rapid results for people's mindset. But hypnotherapy was a bit of a no-no word. So I just had to call myself a mindset coach and all of a sudden business took off.
Okay.
So it's how you name yourself properly. I basically help people psychologically to get more productive, to get more motivated, to get more focused. There are hundreds or thousands of hints and tips for business productivity in the mechanical sense of the term, like automation and that kind of thing. Little apps that help you to do everything. But if you don't have that kind of productivity and that mindset to motivate yourself to do things, that's when things can just go downhill.
Sure.
So I wanted to basically bring to the table here some of the psychology behind motivating yourself. Because in business, you can work on a business and you can work in the business. And if you're basically a one-man band like I am, you have to do both at the same time, treating clients and marketing yourself, doing all the background admin work and all of that. And it can be overwhelming the busier you get.
Sure.
So you do have to have some kind of processes in place. But when you get down to that point of lacking in motivation and you get a lot of overwhelm, you've basically got to remind yourself of why you're doing the job you're doing. And there are two main factors to being productive. You can either dangle a carrot of enticement in front of you and try to reach towards something that you want to achieve, or you can repel yourself against something negative, something fearful. What's going to happen if I don't do this job? And because we're all different, we all work on different mindsets and we all appeal to different kind of ways of doing things. So you can either attract yourself with a really dangly carrot and, I really want to get that carrot, or push yourself away from a fearful end result.
Sure.
And all of that kind of happens in your mind. You kind of think, what's going to happen if I do this? Am I going to hit the next level? Is that going to bring even more results? Am I going to have to step up my game? So even if you are motivating yourself, there could be a factor involved in your mind where you're actually afraid of hitting the next level of success. I'm often treating people with fears of failure and fears of success, both opposite ends of the level spectrum. And the fear of failure is obvious. If we do something wrong, what's going to happen? Are people going to judge us? What are people going to think? And it's like a fear of rejection that sets in. We're not going to be good enough. People aren't going to come to the business because I've done something wrong. And then on the flip side, if I do something right, it's going to put me on a whole different level. I'm going to be surrounded by different people or performances. I'm going to have to step up the game incredibly. And then what are people going to think as well? Am I going to be able to hit that peak? So there are so many different factors to pick just in here before you even get the mechanical work done. And it's a crazy game to be in. It is, yeah. But I've treated people who are just starting off in business and helped them, coach them along. And I've also helped multi-millionaires, even Australian multi-millionaires, at the top of their game in very successful brands.
Yeah.
There's factors within them. They're at this ultimate high level. and it's also what are other people going to think? Should I be here? And there's an element of almost like imposter syndrome there.
Yes.
And do they feel worthy of reaching that pinnacle? So many different factors going on. And
So that's self-esteem. That self-esteem that kind of gets in the way of a lot of things, right? And it doesn't matter how big you are in business. If that self-esteem is not as good as it could be, it doesn't kind of cause people problems, right?
Yep, I've seen self-esteem issue through most of my clients. I would probably say at least 95% of them. It's the self-esteem, the fear of not being good enough, being a failure, or even being successful, the fear of what other people are thinking, and the fear of rejection. All of these, am I good enough to do this? And it's different to confidence, because you can put on a coat of confidence. You can do a performance. You can stand up on stage and do something, or perform something. But when you take that coat off, it's just the real you that's there. And that's the bit that has to be absolutely solid, a good foundation, or everything else crumbles. So even if it's not, even if it's not mechanical business of productivity, it's your head that often makes you suffer before you even get into that business productivity.
So what kind of things can people do? What kind of things do you help people do to kind of boost that sense of self-worth, that sense of self-esteem, or, you know, to get over that sense of, I am worth this, I can do this, it is possible? Yeah.
Well, usually we're digging into the emotional baggage that we all carry right from birth. As soon as you start bringing memories and storing memories, especially as a kid, before your prefrontal cortex has developed, before the logical mind has developed, you basically live life experientially. You go through with feelings. You're not absolutely understanding what goes on around you. And if it's fairly turbulent, or if you have kind of a bit of an imbalanced family dynamic, arguments, people splitting up, you might kind of think that you're not good enough to keep the family together. You might take on some of their traits. And it has you, as a small child, it has you starting to feel not good enough. You can carry that with you throughout your entire life. It'll have you shying away from things, not standing up and answering things in class, probably not even going to college, not going for the real job that you absolutely want because you're afraid you might not get it because you're not good enough and other people will be better. So all of these things, tracing back in history, right from when you're very young, that can colour your productivity right now because of the emotional baggage that you're carrying. So there are various different techniques, but I teach people to start to distance themselves from that baggage, see it as something that they may have experienced, but not necessarily caused. It's not their fault, and they don't need to carry it around with them anymore. It's almost like a badge of honor. You've gone through this experience. It could be a really bad experience, but you've gone through it, and you're a survivor. Now, so you can be proud of yourself. And anything I can do to cheerlead someone on, to drop that baggage and start visioning the future, what they want to achieve, that's how I get inside the mind. Drop the past, aim for this future, and then understand why you're going for that future. Because we've probably all seen that, it was a TED Talk by Simon Sinek, finding your why you do things. That's really, really powerful, because you can be doing something and being quite productive, but it can end up in an end result for somebody else to appreciate. If you're doing something because you absolutely love it, that's your motivation. I'm actually always getting told off by the wife because I would do this for free if I could get away with it. I so love so much. People and meeting people. I see somebody crawl into my office and I see them walk out like Superman or Superwoman. And so I'm part of that transformation. That's why I do it.
It's rewarding, isn't it?
Exactly. But the wife's going, you've got to charge for it. You've got to charge for it.
Yes, absolutely. You have, because the skills that you've got are kind of precious, you know, in terms of helping other people come through some difficult stuff. Overcome things, like you said, that they've often had for decades, since being that little kid in the school classroom, getting told off by the teacher, and it lives with them forever. That memory gets carried through to every then situation where they're wanting to ask a question, or, they're having to present themselves in public, and it just kind of pops in and says, nope, you are not good enough. You shouldn't be doing this.
And it causes a whole heap of anxiety. That's why I've kind of specialized in the anxiety.
Yes.
It's the kind of the fear of something that may or may not happen in the future. And that's most often based on that stuff that we've experienced in the past. There are various people who teach kind of productivity hints at the traditional goal setting.
Yeah.
Set a massive goal, break it down into small little sections so that you can just easily achieve a little bit, then a little bit more, then a little bit more, and ultimately you get to the big goal. That's great. It's setting kind of SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-framed.
Sure.
But if you don't feel you're worth it, you're going to really struggle to actually get there.
Sure.
So it's so many different levels: technical productivity, and then mental productivity as well. I mainly deal with the mental, but technically I use a whole heap of techniques just to get me and my stuff rolling.
Sure.
Automation for one. You've basically got to have a list of what you want to achieve, and that could be every single day. And you've maybe heard of the expression "eat the frog." If you haven't, it means do the nastiest job first. I would say pick the 3 main things that you want to achieve in any day. Just 3 things. Break it down to 3. The 3 things that are gonna give you the most traction, bring in the most wealth or the most growth for your business. Focus on those 3 things and do the worst thing first, because anything you do after that one is going to feel better and it's going to be easier. So choose 3 things, do the worst thing first, and then the other 2. And then you've basically achieved those 3 really good things in any day. And you can be proud of yourself that you've achieved those things. If you finish them within like an hour, go on to achieve more. But if you only achieve those 3 things at the end of a day, who cares? You've still achieved those 3 really good things, which will drive your business forward for growth, for wealth, and motivate yourself.
Absolutely. You know what? You've just kind of given away a lot of stuff for free. How does that feel?
My wife will be on the phone. They should be paying for this.
Yes, you should be paying my Richard for this. Hey, you know what? That's stunning stuff. And, I'm going to put some of that stuff out in the show notes after the broadcast. So we got off to a rocky start, and yet, hopefully people will find some great gems of kind of stuff that you can easily think about, easily implement in your business. And don't just think about the technical. Technical is important, and I feel sure that is definitely a big part of being productive. But there is also a big part of the mindset, a big part of the psychology of who we are, who we want to be, and why we're not getting there is what's holding us back from achieving the things that we need to be able to achieve. And so it's great to get that different perspective on this show. So that's awesome. Did you want to give a little call out to how people can get hold of you in terms of accessing your services?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like I said, I own Mynd Works, MYND.works, and that is the actual website, www.mynd.works. After the show, I believe you, Karen, you're going to put up some links. Because I'm going to give away some free audios, 7 free audios, and some free blog posts. Free stuff. More free stuff. No, the wife's going to kill me. I'm going to give away 7 little free audios. And it's not traditional kind of hypnosis, because people steer away from that.
Sure.
It's just little 3, 4, or 5 minute thought exercises. So there's nothing to be scared of. And it only takes 3, 4, 5 minutes a time.
Stunning, that's productive.
7 of them. And then 3 blog posts that I've written in the past, which will help with productivity. And these will be linked after the show. Awesome
giveaways. I will definitely be putting them up on the show notes, Richard. Thanks so much for joining us, and hope you have a productive day.
Yes. Thanks for having
Richard.
me.
Thanks. Bye. Well, like I say, we have some great talent on these shows. I can't say thanks enough to the people that come on these shows and share the kind of things, the productivity tips that they do. They use themselves in their business. They walk the walk. They don't just talk the talk. They do walk the walk, and they offer some great things to the people that they work with, not just for free. They also charge. So yes, if you want to access Richard's services, I'm going to put them again up on the show notes, and I'll be sharing this around too. So if you do want to come and join STEMGo, saving time, energy, and money in your business, come along to the STEMGo Facebook page. And we have tons more interviews with talented guests just like Richard. And that will be there too. So come on if you want to watch it again. If you missed the show today live, you'll be watching this back as the broadcast later. So bye for now. Have a great, productive day. Awesome. Bye-bye.